Hey everybody, it's Gypsy. This is a bit of an impromptu video. I wasn't really planning on doing it, but I just watched a video by, I think it's called Tiny House Off Grid or something. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm going to put the link to the video in the description. And I'm not doing a commentary on his video. It's just his video got me thinking about how I feel about the situation in the world today. And it just prompted me to want to do a video on my thoughts on it, not that I'm commenting on his, because he has very valid points, and I'm not disagreeing with him. Um, I, you know, the fear mongering that goes on today. Now, like I have told you, since I was a very small child, probably about 5, I knew things weren't right here. Okay, so that's been all my life. Things have not been right here on this planet, our society, not right. My parents' generation, same thing. My grandparents' generation, I'm going to say same thing, because what's going on today really, I think, started escalating with them. But I feel that, well, um, those like at the top of the pyramid have been there for a long, long time. I don't know how far back it goes. I couldn't even begin uh, to imagine when it started. I mean, everything through history has changed. So how it worked at one era is probably different than now. Now, that being said, things are strange today. There's a lot of weird shit. I mean, there are things that are going on today that I never dreamed I'd see the day. Never. And all I think is, whew, I'm glad I'm done raising children, because I wouldn't want to be raising children at this time. And so these young parents, I just, hi baby, it's Persephone. I send them strength and love and blessings from above, because they need all the strength they can get. Um, but with all this weird shit going on, and yes, I do believe they control. They control through the economy, through all the stupid laws they make, and they are stupid. They have so many ways of controlling us, and they do things throughout history to test how pliable we are to their control, how willing we are to comply. And I'm not going to go into what those events are. If you think about it, you will know, especially if it happened during your lifetime. Now, we all know that stuff's going on. And they're the things that people talk about, food shortages, stuff like that. We all see the prices going up. We see the economy's a mess. That's pretty much, to me, concrete. You could see it. No, I have a cat, and Persephone's attacking this camera standing before it was Draco. I go into the store for the past few years, anywhere in the Southwest I've traveled, empty shelves, or mostly empty shelves. So there's something going on with there. But the point I want to talk about today is, do I live in fear? No, I don't. I take all of this into serious consideration. I do the best I can to prepare with what I have. I don't get all bent out of shape about it. I don't let it weigh me down, keep me up at night, etc. I continue living my life. And I do so, I have to say, without concern. What I have noticed throughout my life, no matter how bad things get, it's always worked out for me. And I don't know that I can exactly say how or why. I do believe it has to do with the law of manifestation and the desire, my wants that I put out there. I believe when we live in fear, we are handing over our power to the upper echelon, to the powers that be, whatever you guys want to call them. Will we hand over our power because we're afraid? We're weakening ourselves. What we can't appreciate, what we can't understand, is just how powerful we are. Nobody takes into account, and I know there's many who don't believe in the afterlife and stuff like that. I would say the majority of us do, or we say we do. We may talk the talk, but we're not walking the walk. So, if in fact we are eternal beings, and I know we are, I can hear and see those on the other side of the veil. We existed before we came into these lives. We exist now. And after our bodies die, we still exist. We just don't have the body. Thank God. I find it rather limiting. But because I have that knowledge, I remember that I am powerful. So why worry about this stuff? Now, I'm not going to say ignore it. Please don't ignore it. No matter what lifestyle you choose to live, whether you choose to live off grid like I do, you try to garden and stuff like that, and then at some point I'm going to up my game a little bit, maybe get chickens or maybe sheep. Those are the two things I'm considering. I haven't made a final decision. I'm considering it. I don't feel I'm ready for it now. I'm not all in a panic that I need to do it right now. That's how I am. I'm aware of the power struggle, and that the people on this planet are the majority over the powers that be. Something we always forget. We are the majority. I did it again. I can't remember where I was going with this. No matter how you want to live as a member of this majority, whether it be like I do, on grid, in the city, in a rural area, whatever, in an apartment, in a house, whatever, on the streets, it doesn't matter. You can prepare in whatever way. You don't have to get all fanatical and panicky about it and stock up and this, that, and the other thing. Just be aware of it's happening. All right, think to yourself, well, if this event should happen, whatever, and all of these things that people talk about can happen, whether they have already happened or not, they've happened in the past, there's always a potential for these things happening. That's the way I look at things. Never say never. But on the other hand, don't be so focused on it. It's controlling you, controlling your life, and you're living in fear. We don't want to do that. I am doing things, like canning and trying with the little bit of room I have, trying to stock up on stuff. This is my way of preparing because, yes, food has gotten expensive, and you guys do know I buy my food mostly. I mean, it's all from a farm. I just go to the store to get paper products and things like maybe olive oil or something. That's more expensive. I'm trying to adapt my gardening skills because I did it one time. I actually had gardening skills when I lived in Ohio. Here I don't. I'm trying to adapt it to here. So that's my way of preparing. The canning and stocking up on stuff like that. But I'm not like living in fear about it. I'm just going about my life and doing what I want to do. And this is what I want to do. So what I'm saying is, don't live in fear. You live in fear. You're not thinking clearly. You're not thinking critically. Critical thinking is something we need to get back. Be aware certain things are happening. You don't have to be one of those, preparedness free, like nuts, like they're so obsessed with it that it's kind of like one of those hellfire and brimstone preachers that get so passionate about it and everything. Be aware of what you might need in case the grid goes down. Now, I used to live in Northeast Ohio. When my boys were little, we had a major brownout. It went on for days. No electricity whatsoever. We made it through that. But should it extend further than that, Well, that's just proof that yes, these things can and do happen. Now, when I was in Ohio for Christmas, my sister was at work and the power went out. Now, it was only for a few minutes, it came back on. But then a few days later, we're sitting in the dark at her house because there's no power. That was only for a couple hours. And they're both in the same area, both her business, where she works, and her house. So this is telling me one of two things is either happening. The east side of the country's power grid is very old, wearing down, whatever. Or the powers that be or somebody is messing with the stuff and testing around. So be aware, if you live on grid, have backup. Have a generator. Have your hurricane lamps, your kerosene oil lamps, your candles, stuff like that. Anything to help you get through, because the power could go out. It could be out for half an hour. It could be out for days like it was for us, or weeks for other people during that brownout years ago. It could go on for God knows how long. Always be prepared with that stuff too, but never live in fear. Go about your life as you please, living your life the type of life you want. I'm very aware that we are in a spiritual battle. And the powers that be, I'm trying to figure out how deep to go into this. The powers that be on this planet, I want to say the ones that are human, okay, I'm asking if that's the best way to put it, are being controlled. Everybody you think has power is being controlled by someone else. Everybody seems to have a handler, including our president and all the way up. But it gets to a point where the handlers are not of this planet. There is a spiritual, a battle for our planet going on. Spiritual battle too. So we have all this stuff going on, yes. But if you live in fear and you're not thinking, you're not using critical thinking skills, you're allowing them to control you, where you're letting them win. I love the saying, the best revenge is living a good life. Believe me, I have used that revenge so much in my life, and I love it. Because, all right, I might be a witch. I have had people ask me to put hexes on people. I always say, no, I'm not going to do, I don't do that kind of stuff. You want a hex put on somebody, you go find yourself another witch. I'm a green witch. I like to work with plants, healing herbs, stuff like that. I will do a banishing spell because that doesn't hurt anybody. But my thing, the best magic whatsoever is that best revenge magic. Living your best life. That's the best revenge. And you want to stick it to the powers that be, ignore what they're doing and live your best life. That's what I'm doing. I don't get so bent out of shape about this stuff. I watch the videos. I listen to the news. I watch what's going on. It's kind of like I get out my popcorn and sit in a recliner and I'm observing. I observe what's going on here. And it's to me it's kind of entertaining. I'm not meaning to diminish it. But I think, oh my God, it's like a soap opera all the time. Telenovela. It's even more dramatic, right? So, in my mind, I weigh what I'm seeing and hearing. Decide what I'm going to do. Should I do something to prepare for this? What I don't do is panic. I don't live in fear. I don't cry about it. I don't get hysterical. I do talk about how to handle it in some of my videos. My spiritual ones, I do get a bit more emotional because spirituality's always been my thing. But never live in fear, because that's the best way for them to control you. So whatever lifestyle you choose for yourself, and it does not have to be off-grid in the middle of the woods. It does not. Or the middle of the desert. Middle of nowhere like I do. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. If it's what you want to do it. My lifestyle is not the only way to live. But always kind of be prepared. Kind of like my mother. It's 23 years ago now, when they were talking about Y2K, they said things could go down because they weren't sure if going from the 1900s to the 2000s, how it would affect the computer system. So nobody really knew what was happening. My mom stocked up on water. Now, we laughed at her because years later, we're cleaning out the garage. We had to get rid of all that stale water. But we laughed. But my mom was prepared just in case. She wasn't bent out of shape. We teased her that she was just because she had that water there. But she didn't really. She just had the water there. Water is the most important thing we need to live. So my mother made sure it was there just in case something happened with the computer system and everything went down. That's the way to do it. She didn't talk about it really all that much. She went about her life doing her thing. I'm just don't let the fear get to you. Do what you want. Live your best life is what I'm saying. Because this world is crazy. There's a lot of weird shit going on around here. I sit here and go, wow, there's one I never thought of. They are crazy. Anyway, yeah. So this one, I watch it, I observe what's going on. I filter what I need to know, what I can put aside, stuff like that. I'll sit here going home like that. But, do what you. I don't know what's with my cats today. Miss Ma'am, Persephone, where are you going? I don't know. Anyways, that's all I have to say about that. It really didn't. I mean, it did touch upon what this video that I just watched prompted. He touched upon that, but it wasn't really exactly what he was saying. I'm going to put that down there because I think he is pretty much saying the same thing I am. I believe in being prepared, and the way I live, and like he says this too, the way I live automatically puts me in a situation where I am prepared. It's not that I'm a preparedness fanatic. It's just this is the way I choose to live. Electricity goes out. I don't even know about it because I don't use electricity. I'm not on grid. So, anyways, I gotta stop this cat from being naughty. So I'm gonna leave you with that. Blessed be and make it a joyful one.